Hello, my name's Maisie. I'm 16 years old and I'm the elected Youth Member of Parliament for Torridge, North and West Devon. Today I'm going to be talking about what Youth Parliament is, the elections and make your mark. So let's start with your rights. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but as well as your rights for simply being a human, you have rights for simply being a child. So this means there are things that are entitled to you just because you're alive and you're a young person. So Article 12 of this reads as follows. Every child has the right to say what they think in all matters affecting them and to have their views taken seriously. So this means that on any issue, any decision that is made, whether that be nationally, at school, at home, as a child, you have the right to be able to speak up on that issue and be consulted on your views and your opinions. And for those views to be taken into account, it's so much listening to young people or kind of giving them the chance to say something. But if you don't do anything about it, it defeats the whole point. This is definitely a right that seems to be ignored by society at the moment as a whole, definitely internationally as well as here at home. So the UK Youth Parliament is something that I'm involved in, which tries to combat this and make sure that young people do get their voices heard where it's important, which is everywhere. The UK Youth Parliament is an organisation that's run by young people to represent young people. And there are two main ways that we work. So we have elections in local areas to elect a representative for you and the young people around you. So this is similar to the adult MPs in Parliament, which adults around us will elect in general elections. We then have the Make Your Mark vote to ask young people what issues they care about. So from this, the elected youth MPs will spend 2 years acting on the results of Make Your Mark, so the issues that young people across the country brought up to say was what they cared about and what they were concerned about as a young people. These youth MPs will take action on that. So here are some photos of what I've done as a youth MP over the past 2 years. And much of it has been online due to the COVID pandemic. So these photos are few, most of them being Zoom photos, which I tried not to include too many of because that is very boring. But we do have photos of us speaking to councillors, members of parliament as well. We've been doing some things on Black Lives Matter, poverty, climate crisis, climate emergency, because that's something that's come up in Make Your Mark as an issue that young people are really concerned about, and rightly so. We've also been kind of going out into the community doing live debates in Barnstable Park there at the top, where we can, because obviously most of it has been in lockdown. We've been working with NYPs from up and down the country to make sure that we can build the most effective campaigns as possible and work with each other to kind of make the most change. So how can you get involved with all this? In February 2022, there will be elections for new NYPs, but also the opportunity for you to vote and make your mark. So this means you've got 2 votes, one which will determine who represents you, and another which will determine what issues they represent you on. So as I was explaining earlier. So the first way is to vote in Make Your Mark. This is what I've been talking about, and you will have the opportunity to kind of choose from a selection of issues that you think kind of concern you most as a young person at the moment. I'm going to try and show a video on this. Let's hope it works. So as that video said, that will be happening in February, and by that time you will have candidate ballots, election ballots, which will either be online or kind of a paper thing where you can tick stuff. And at the same time as that, we will have elections for your new youth MP. So that will be people who are running as candidates who want to represent you. So you will be given some candidate information about those people, get to know who they are, what they care about, how they're going to represent you best, what they think they're going to do, and you can kind of choose, have a look at who you think would is going to represent you best as a young person for the next 2 years. Saying that, you can become one of those candidates and ask people to vote for you if you think that's something that you'd be really interested in, getting super involved in our work and making sure that you get young people's voices heard so you can stand as a candidate and represent the young people around you. So for this, you'd have to form some kind of candidate information, and there will be meetings and loads of help with this once you register your interest with us, which you should probably do quite soon. But that's a super exciting way that you can get really involved with us and represent the young people around you. So this means that you have the responsibility to listen to young people and be kind of the relay between young people and decision makers in Parliament, but also in things like Devon County Council, big organisations, and all that. I'm going to show you another video on this. Let's see if this works.
MYPs, it is fair enough we can gather in this chamber and report these statistics, but I believe our job is more than that. We must go out there and speak to our young constituents who have put their faith in us by electing us as their representatives.
Climate change, as we all are aware of, is one of the most pressing issues that faces young people today in the 21st century. It is a problem that does not discriminate, no matter your socioeconomic background, your race, your religion. It does, and it will affect us all.
So there's also lots of opportunities that come with being a member of Youth Parliament. You get to go up to London and sit on the green benches, as you can see, have a debate in the House of Commons with young people from all over the country. So that's quite exciting, and you'll get to make really good relationships with the decision makers and the people in power, hopefully. And also young people from all over the country who come together to make change. And it's obviously a great thing to put on your CV and say that you've done. It's pretty impressive. So I'd really recommend trying to stand as a candidate. But if you think that's not for you, you can also get involved in Devon Youth Council, which is one of the best ways you can get involved and use your voice to influence decision makers. Unlike being a member of Youth Parliament, you don't have to get elected, and there is no kind of commitments, and you only campaign on what's important to you and what you're interested in. Whereas as a member of Youth Parliament, you have a responsibility. It's your job to, as you've been elected, to commit to the young people and campaign on what they care about, even if that doesn't quite align with your views. So you can sign up on this link that I've got down there, or the QR code up there, which I can also send around if people are really interested in that. And that will give you monthly newsletters and meetings where we get to talk to decision makers, organisations. And I mean, we're the future and we deserve to have our say. And I think it's really important that as many young people as possible get involved with this kind of stuff, and make sure that the adults don't take over what we're doing and mess up the world. So if you are interested in our work, you can contact me for more information. That's my email down there, northwesttorridgenyp@gmail.com. And then we've got our 2 Instagram accounts up there. That's my one, NYP_Maisie. And then the kind of Devon one, which is at Devon Youth Parliament.